Okay, Garry. Not long got off the phone to Judy. She told me about our dad. I burst into tears. I love the guy, you know. But anyway, she told me what you said. And I got to be honest with you, Garry, I'd be saying I want to say the same thing to our dad too. Because to be honest, and this is nothing against you, I need you to know that straight away. It's just a need in me. I need to hear something from Dad that I've been longing for nearly all my life. Well, as far back as I can remember it anyway. Sorry about the shiny bits in my glasses at the window over in the kitchen doing that. You probably feel the same way regarding Dad, as far as wanting to, for all I know, he may have already said it to you, I don't know. I've always felt left out of Dad's life because Dad seemed to be going more towards his sons like you and Simon and Ben, more than me. I mean, I am his one and only daughter, and I love him. I always have. I mean, I prayed so hard when I was a teenager, about 14 I think I was, and we're living in Maui still. Prayed and I prayed and I prayed for God to, I wasn't even a born-again Christian back then, but I believed because of going to the Sally Army and that as a little girl. And I prayed, please God, bring my dad into my life. I want to meet my dad. I want to get to know my dad. Words to that effect. Every day I prayed that in my bedroom. Mum never knew. And then one day I went to the fish and chip shop, came home, and I slowed down, and I had a feeling he was there in the kitchen. Mum had never said nothing. Obviously she had received a letter of some kind, I don't know. She never said, so I'm only guessing. And that's when us kids went down to the Maui Rodeo that day. I'm not sure if you remember that day or not, because that's when our grandmother, Dad's mum, tapped me on the shoulder, and I got the shock of my life because I just seemed to know her. I'd never, as a grown-up child, seen her face, but that particular day she said, do you know who I am? And I just knew. And she wanted to know where we lived and that, and so she went to see Mum. I don't know what was said. But that was when Dad had come down to ask Mum for the divorce because he had met Diane, and at that point, and they were wanting to get hitched. And but I was just glad. To me, God had answered my prayer in bringing him into my life and into yours. I've never forgotten what happened when we saw him off on the train. Both stood there near the fence waving to him and all that, but you were crying. I've never forgotten that. I think you would have been maybe 12, something like that, approximately. Age is catching up with me, so my memory's not quite as good as it used to be. I'll be 68 this Tuesday. But, she told me about Dad's will. I won't be fighting about it or saying, hey, he owes me this, he owes me that, whatever. No. I never expected anything, not even a memento, because, to put it simply, I didn't think Dad cared that much for me, that he would think of me in that way. And I've been crying since I spoke to Jude, because for a little while there, a couple of years ago, I thought Dad had already passed on because of his age. And that no one had any way of contacting me to tell me. But I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. I'm glad he's still alive, and I'm glad that, I'm not glad that he's close to dying, don't get me wrong. I've gone through a few losses since being here, losing my, Colin's parents. I grew to love them dearly, no matter what they had done or whatever in his past. I got to know them, and, there was love in them. And I mourned them, cried heaps at their funerals, because they died within 3 weeks of each other. That was why we came here to Ballarat. Anyway, what I really want to say is, and like I said, it's got nothing to do with you, I promise you that. I need to hear all this from Dad himself, his voice. I need him. I really do. I want to hear from my dad. I want to hear his voice. I mean, if I had my way, I'd be flying up there to see him. I wouldn't hesitate. I don't want it to be like when Pop died and I was up in Queensland and I had no idea that he had died until a couple of months later, That really broke me, that, for a while. But I've got a chance to say goodbye to Dad in a way I never got, and neither did you with Mum, because it was so sudden. That's why it was so hard for me to accept at first, because it was bolted out of the blue and she was so young. Whereas with Dad, he's 89. And just believe this, okay? Mum was the same age as Dad. They were both 21 when they married. So that means if she had lived, she'd be 89. So that's incredible. And Cole's dad was 90, just turned 90 on the day that he died, amazingly enough. But, yeah, I want to hear it from our dad. I want to reassure him about a few things too. I'm not going to go crook at him. I'm not going to, you should have, No, that's all in the past, Garry, okay? I just want Dad to acknowledge me, like he does with you and Simon and Ben. I mean, I've been looking for Simon and Ben for so long. I've looked on Facebook. I've searched everywhere. The only thing I haven't done is gone onto the electoral list, and I'm very, very tempted to do that, because I went out of my way for Cole to find his 2 sons, and we did. It was amazing the way that happened. But he's been talking. Well, he was, but that stopped when they found out we're Christians. But one of his brothers, Adam, looks a spitting image of him, believe it or not. I couldn't get over the photo when I saw it, because they sent us photos. Anyway, just so you know, little side step here. You have you got 5, 4 nephews and 1 niece through my children, okay? Emma's had 2, a boy and a girl. Sarah's got 2 boys, and David has got 1 boy, and he turns 21 the day after my birthday. That was a good birthday present 21 years ago. It's hard to believe I've got a grandson that's nearly 21. But anyway, I'm in no contact with them at the moment because of what Emma's been into and up to and all that. I'm not going to go into it because it's very painful for me even now. I'm in contact with young Cody because he lives at Beechworth. He's a Christian, not through me. in a way, I suppose, because I had been praying for years about that. And, yeah, and if you hear Colin coughing in the background, it's because he's, he had asthma for years. He's suffering with COPD now, which is another form of emphysema. Got other things, but I won't go into it. I totally understand what you say about the past. You don't want to talk about the past. I agree. Totally. I want to put it behind us, Garry. That's why I sent you that message on Messenger that day. Because I do love you. I always have. I know I had a funny way of showing it. And kind of stems a little bit back to our childhood. I was the firstborn, and then suddenly this little baby boy came along, and in my silly little childlike mind, maybe I don't remember it, but maybe there was a bit of sibling rivalry there on my behalf, I don't know. And then I hit puberty and I rebelled. Heck, so did you. Each in our own ways. Did all sorts of silly stuff to each other. But that's in the past. And I want to remember, there are things in the past that I do want to remember, the good stuff. What I remember about Mum was the last few months of her life. Her and I became close, and we started doing mother-daughter stuff. So that I do remember, and I don't mind remembering that. I don't want to remember all the bad stuff, and there was a lot. I don't know how much you remember, and I won't go into it because your memories are yours, mine are mine. But regardless of all that, I know you loved her and I loved her. Heck, I still do, even though she's been gone a really, really long time now. 1974, wow. I don't quite know how many years that makes it, but I remember her every August without fail. I always put something on my timeline. Always. Anyway, as far as Dad's concerned, can you tell him for me? And look, if you want to, if there's any way you can share this message with him, look, go for it, okay? And I don't mind if you call me. I really don't. And this is my phone number, okay? I'm passing it out to you now. It's 0402 574 897. And yeah, I still live in Ballarat. Cole and I are now in a lovely little community type retirement, village type thing. They're rentals. Heck, couldn't afford to buy a fancy one to save ourselves at the moment, but that day may come down the track. Who knows? Only God does. And I know Judy said that you didn't want to talk religion. But Garry, I'm not religious. You know that. Religious to me, like I said to Cole before, is Anglican, Catholic, Presbyterians, Methodists who have the statues that they bow down to. I think I even said the same thing to Judy. I'm not like that. And Cole and I stopped going to church, as you know, in Mount Isa. And but now we're going again. We started, about 6 months ago approximately, because we met this lovely lady through having to use the maxi cabs for Cole because he can't walk very well at the moment, and when we go out he has to use a wheelchair, and I push him around everywhere. But I don't mind because I love the guy. I know you don't like him, but he's my husband. We've been married 30 years now, guys, and that's a long time. 32 years together, of course, but married 30. had a wonderful little vow renewal at our church. It's called Rise Christian Church here in Ballarat, suburb actually of, it's called Dallacombe. It's not very far from us really. But this lady taxi driver we had heard me and Collie talking in the back of the cab, and she started talking about her church. I went, say what? Because we had tried a couple of churches here and they weren't that great. Didn't really have that much of a family atmosphere, and just didn't suit us. And then we met Diane, that taxi driver lady. Her and I have become really good mates, Christian sisters as well. And we invited ourselves along to her church. And because she was a maxi cab driver, she came and picked us up, and the rest is history, so to speak. We didn't go today because neither one of us was feeling 100% physical. I've got bursitis in both shoulders, I'm just letting you know, as well as osteoarthritis. Give you a little, I don't know if you can see that very well. I'll try and do it properly. It's the shape of my finger, it's part of arthritis. But, I try not to go into that too much because I still believe in healing from God, okay? Jesus died for that. He sacrificed his everything for us. I don't know if you guys, you and Pushbar, still go to church. I have no idea. That's your walk with God. I'm not here to tell you to do this or do that, but time is short. I mean, I don't know if you've been noticing everything going on over in Israel, as well as other places around the world, Russia, Europe, everywhere. Can't say Ukraine. There we go. Ukraine. I can't say that word. But, there's a heck of a lot going on in this world, not just the wars, but the volcanoes, the earthquakes, the floods. I mean, Spain just had a humongous one. Man, were we shocked when we saw that one. And even New South Wales and parts of Queensland, same. And I know I'm rambling. It's because I'm hurting. My heart's broken about Dad. I want to have a chance. I just want to have a chance to hear his voice again and just talk. And there's going to be no fighting. There might be a few tears. Dad's going to have to expect his daughter to cry. You know me. I do cry, not like I used to, but I'm a crier. Cole calls me the town crier sometimes, don't you, darling? You can't talk, He's just sitting over there reading his Bible. Anyway, it's a one-bedroom unit we live in, and we're happy. I've got a little friend. She's curled up at the back of the couch over there. It's a cat. And, because young Rima died quite a few years ago now. And I don't know whether I told you, because I know you knew her, but my really good friend Marina passed away 2 years ago, and I still miss that lady. But I just thought I'd let you know that she has gone. I mean, she was about 80-something when she passed too. So, I want to make amends with that. I want to finally just settle everything within my own heart and his. I want to hear everything from Dad. I appreciate the fact that, okay, you didn't have my number to give to him, but feel free to give it to him. I want to hear from him. I don't want to be the one to ring him. I want my dad to call me, I know it doesn't look like I've been crying, but hey, I've got my glasses on. Look at the eyes. That'll prove it. So yeah. I want us to be brother and sister, Garry, real brother and sister, you know. No more name calling. I mean, for goodness sake, we're adults. I'm going to be 68, like I said. Let's just put it behind us. I know you said you forgive, but you don't forget. But, you know, I don't like looking in the rearview mirror anymore because it brings us down. No matter who we are, it brings us down. It hurts. I know it does. And I've already explained to you, and I'm not going to go into it. I've already explained to you why Cole did what he did that day and said the things he said. And he's been sorry for it ever since. But I'm not going to go into it, okay? That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm really glad you found the lady that you love and you got married. I'm really happy for that. Oh, I really am. When our cousin Karen told me and showed me a few wedding photos, yes, she did, many years ago now, I was really happy. You looked happy. I was really happy. Because that's what you had been wanting for so long, for such a long time. And I don't know if you remember, I hope you do, but one day when we were at Beachmere, you and Colin were sitting at the table in the kitchen and he'd been praying and he just out of the blue said to you, Garry, you're not going to marry a white girl. You're going to marry someone with dark skin. Now, he had no idea who Pushpa was, and neither did I, okay? And then we left Mount Isa, hung around the Brisbane district for a while because we were still working. And then, no, got that mixed up. We slowly made our way back down to Victoria again because I wanted to see my children. I really did. Unbeknownst to you, I missed them a lot. It took a little while. I mean, David was relatively okay because we had seen him quite a bit, even when we were up in Queensland. But the girls were a bit of a harder nut to crack, but I did. It got there. Anyway, so we came back here. Then we went to South Australia after a few years or so. We only stayed there for about 3, I think. And we came back down to Victoria, been here since. Tried living with Emma for a while. Didn't work because we're too much alike. We fought. I think once your children grow up, it's like they're your children in your heart, but they're not in like in the flesh, because they're all grown up and got kids of their own. And Emma's even said to me in the past, let's not go back to that, Mum. But I love my memories of them when they were little. So too bad if she don't like it. And I think she's starting to know that too with her too. She's the one that's got the daughter. Okay. She had a boy first, then the little girl, Xander and Kaylin. I miss them terribly, but she's down in Ferntree Gully somewhere. And the other two still in the western suburbs. Not Sunshine, but close by. David's doing really well for himself. I'm very proud of him. He's had his own business for a while until all the stupid lockdowns happened. Because as you know, he was a panel beater by trade, and it was the job. I always knew he'd go the way of cars. and he ended up having a place of his own, but sadly, because of the way of the world and the money situation, he had to sell it. But he's still working, and he's got a lovely lady named Holly, and Cody lives with his mum up in Beechworth, and he's working. And like I said, he's a born-again Christian, so hippie hooray. My prayers were answered there, and I'm still praying for the rest of them. But anyway, Gaz, ring me if you want to, okay? It's entirely up to you. I've given you my number. And if you want my address as well, to pass on to Dad or whoever, well, here it is. It's Unit 9, number 26, Beverin Street. And Beverin is spelt Beverin, okay? And it's in a suburb of Ballarat called Sebastopol. And that is I hope I get this right, SEBAS, Sebasta, TAPOL. Yeah, that's it. 3356 postcode. Oh, area code, sorry. And that's where we are. We've been here a year and a half. Before that, we were in a 3-bedroom house, but we knew there was a lot of homeless out there, especially families, so we gave up the house and moved in here because we wanted to make sure that at least one family got a place to live, had a roof over their head. That's why we did that. Plus the fact that I couldn't handle, Colin couldn't do the lawn mowing anymore because of his feet. And just so you know what it is, and look it up on your computer, you'll see what it is, okay, because that's what I did. And it's called peripheral nerve damage in both his feet. And besides osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. It's hard, but we're getting there. We have our moments, but we're closer than ever these days, more closer than we've ever been before. And, we still have a tiff every now and then, but there's no at each other. We've learnt a lot over the years. But anyway, I know Cole would love to say a few things himself, but only if you're willing, okay? And he's not here to tell you off. He's not here to, you shouldn't have said this. No. Okay? He's way past it. Like Garry, he's way past. He's not like that anymore. He doesn't like talking about the past any more than I do, except for the good, the good bits, like I said. We don't mind remembering them. But anyway, tell Dad that I love him. And I always have. I just, it was hard for me, being the only girl, So, and for some reason, maybe it was just me as I grew up, I don't know. I always thought Dad didn't love me because I was a girl. Okay, he seemed to lean towards you guys. And I'm getting the hurry up from my husband over here because this is his computer I'm talking on because mine's are not working at the moment. So I better get a hurry on because there's things that he likes to do on the computer. But yeah, you got my information now. So it's up to you. But yeah, I'll send this link. It'll be on YouTube. I'll send this link to Judy, and she'll probably pass it on to you. Okay, and I'm sure you know how to get on YouTube by now. All right, things I've learned about computers over the X amount of years. Still learning. But I'm glad that you reached out to tell me about Dad. because I've been sitting here just wondering, will anybody ever tell me, if he's alive or dead, or when and how. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. But no, your sister loves you. I know I had a weird way of showing it, but I love you, Garry. I do really, really love you. I've been in contact with Jeff. He's doing well. He wishes he could. One thing Jeff did say, oh, I wish I could retire. You should see him. He looks so tired and so old. We all do, I guess. But we talk off and on the phone. He rings me up every now and then when he can sneak a bit of time from work, because he works very late shift. He's not at Nilex anymore because they closed down. But he's got a regular job. He's a granddad to one little girl called Charlotte, Stephanie's little girl. I'm not too sure if Andrew's got a girlfriend or not. I have no idea. But I've got photos, and they're really good-looking kids. Well, adults now. Me and Judy, I'm not talking auntie, I'm talking sister. Just filling you in a tiny bit. We did try and patch things up. We really did, but Judy is Judy, and she was more leaning towards Janice than me. It hurt at first, but I've gotten used to that. But Janice doesn't have much to do with her anymore anyway. But Judy still hangs on to that. So that's her real sister, according to her. And that's Judy. You know her. You were around her a fair bit when you lived in Frankston, and she did too. So anyway, mate, I'll say see you later for now. And unblock me on Facebook if you want to. I'm there as my real name, Thelma Marie Jones. I've gone back to being called Thelma again. And feel free to tell Dad that, because, I just realised that, hey, that's the name I was given first by God and then by our mum and Dad. So this is Thelma now, not Marie. Even though Colin slips up from time to time, still calls me Marie. But, everyone knows me as Thelma everywhere around here. But, people call me what they call me. As Cole says, just don't call me too late for lunch. Which reminds me, time for something to eat soon. So take care, bro. And say hello to your lovely wife for me. And one day, I'd love to meet her. She seems like a really nice person. Okay. And I'm really sorry you didn't have children of your own, but that you've taken on her children as yours. That's awesome. You should be proud of that. You should, because it's awesome. Not many men or women are willing to take on somebody else's children, but you are. And good on you. Okay. Anyway, I better cut this short because Cole wants. I've got so much I'd love to talk to you about, but I'll leave that ball in your court. Okay. I'm not going to push it, Garry. Okay, I'm not. Life's too short, Gaz. It really is. I'm here if you want me, okay? Or need. And when it comes, one thing I will say, and I want you to know this, even though Dad doesn't want tears and all the rest of it, when he does go, I'll be there at the funeral. I could not be there. And even Cole said, I'll make sure you go, and he's going to come with me. So be prepared for that. Okay? Because he's got nothing against Dad. He really doesn't. Part of Dad's problem was he didn't like the way Colin used to blow wave his hair, but he didn't really know the real reason why he did that. Because he was curly tops when he was a kid, and if he let his hair dry normal, yeah, he'd have Shirl the curls. And that's why he did what he did, but Dad thought he was being a bit vain. But anyway, I don't know why I'm rambling. I do that a bit. Guess you and I got something in common. We both tend to talk a lot. Take after Mum. Anyway, hopefully I'll talk to you. Feel free to call me, okay? I mean that. I'll tell you the number one more time and then I'll go. 0402 574 897. Now, if you can't get me on that number, I'm giving Judy permission to give you Colin's phone number because half the time I answer his phone anyway, okay? Cole has never been one for answering phones that much, only if necessary. So, yeah. So, I don't know his number off by heart like I do my own. So, yeah. I love you, Garry. All right? I do. God bless you, and just remember, you're loved by him. You're loved by, I'm looking up like this because of that sunshine in my glasses. You're loved by him, by Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Simple. I've never let him go and I never will. I've had my arguments with Dad, as in God, but hey, we all go through that. We all do. You've been there, done it yourself. So, yeah, life's pretty rough these days in this ugly old world we live on. But anyway, I'll go. I love you. Bye.